I'm Gory B Movie, and tonight on Gory Talk, we're going to have Janelle Schiecke on. She's a horror author. She's written some really cool books. I just read one of them, and it's super awesome. So, without further ado, let's bring her on. Hi, Janelle.
Hey, how's it going?
I like your Creep Show shirt. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. It was a Christmas gift from my husband.
Oh, nice. I wore this because I thought it was kind of in line with the Clatter Man. We got some Leatherface. We got some Jason Voorhees. I feel like there was a lot of inspirations there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Slasher classic inspirations. So you're from New Jersey, which is like on the opposite side of the country from me.
I know.
Which I really liked because the setting and everything. I like hearing about different parts of the country because I've never been to the East Coast. So to me, it's
really
very exotic.
Yeah, it's obviously like it's really cold, but I've been to California a few times. But yeah, I grew up in Ohio, so I've always kind of just been around this part of the states.
Very cool. Yeah, I moved here from England when I was a kid, but I've been pretty much in Washington for forever. But we have stuff here. If you want writing inspiration, we got Sasquatches, we got sparkly vampires. There's material here, is what I'm saying. And we got Fiore in the chat. He says, New Jersey represent. Yeah, New Jersey's great. You got MCR, you got Bon Jovi, you got some good stuff.
Yep.
In New Jersey.
I love it here.
And Stephanie says she's here for Janelle. Well, thank you. I'm so glad to see you here. And Special K says, tell her Kevin says
oh, Kevin. Aw.
Yeah,
we got for like over 2 years.
Oh, cool. Stuart says he's excited to discover a new author. So I'm really excited. So you've been writing since, you've been at least publishing writing. I'm sure you've been writing much longer than that, since 2003. And then you've done a book pretty much every year since then.
Yes. So, it's funny. So Ghost Room, my first book, it took me almost 10 years to finish that and publish because I was so scared, to put my heart out there. It's like with anything creative, whether it's a painting or, a book or anything. But it's funny because I found like once you write your first one, it's like almost like,
okay, that makes me feel so much better. I have a first draft of a book written, which I'm sure you hear all the time. Like everyone probably tells you that. But yeah, I have one written, but the second draft has just taken me forever, and it's been like years. And I feel like I'm that guy, Brian from the Family Guy, talking about that book I'm writing. It's just taking so long, but it's hard. It's like I feel like it's like sending your kid to college, and like I don't know where I want them to go. Do I want them to be self-published? Do I want them to go here? Like I'm kind of scared.
Yeah,
so I understand. So was the first book you wrote that was the Ghost Room? Was that really personal?
It was. So Ghost Room, so it was cool. The story kind of came out of a dream I was having. God, this is funny. It's my husband's chair.
I didn't even notice.
He's a lot taller than me. So Ghost, I had this. We used to live in Brooklyn, and I remember in Brooklyn, I kept on having this dream about this room. This girl would walk up these stairs, be kind of like a cozy, kind of like spooky room. And my husband's like, just write about it. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of scared, He's like, just do it, So I started writing about it, and it just became the story. And I actually, so all the girls in there, they're based off of myself and my childhood friends. So we all kind of had, I don't know, we're always joking, and so it almost came natural to write their dialogue, and it was really fun.
Oh. Do you do that a lot with your characters? Base them on people you know?
I do.
My friend did
Yeah.
that, and I was so uncomfortable because she's like, "This character in this book, Kennedy, she's you." I'm like, "Really?" Well, now I have to read it and get all the tea, but it was all nice stuff. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
so if you guys ever read the book, I Should Have Worn Panties, the character Kennedy is supposedly me. So
Oh,
there you go.
oh my gosh. Oh, that's crazy.
I'm scared to do that. I kind of tell people, I'm like, well, I have characters that are based on you. I mash them with other people because I feel like I would
Yeah.
be too protective of them. Like I wouldn't kill them or hurt them, or
Yeah.
like they might be offended if they had to do something that's not very nice. So it's like, well, if you,
No, I know.
but your friends are all on board.
Oh, they're all on board. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
super
So it
cool.
was it, it was really cool. And it's funny because I feel like since then I've kind of based characters more off people like Clatter Man, for instance. You just read Clatter Man. The
Yeah,
characters are
yeah.
kind of based off. Pardon?
I was agreeing. Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. The characters in that are kind of based off of people, just general people I knew in high school, like the jocks and the cheerleaders and the cool people and the not so cool people. So I kind of base the characters off of those kind of groups of
That's
people.
something. I mean, we should get into the Clatter Man. That's something I actually wanted to ask you about because even though some
Yeah.
of it didn't fit, like the Hawaiian shirt didn't fit with what I had in my head, the
Hmm.
characters you had perfectly fit the characters in Cabin in the Woods. So that's what I pictured.
Oh, awesome! I love
Because like
that.
you had the stoner, you had the kind
Yep.
of, and they even say in the movie that like, well, we have to work with what we got because they're like
Yeah.
virgin, right? But I was like, yeah, it was kind of the same thing where it was like it was these archetypes of the stoner, the bad
Mhm.
girl, the good boy, who's all
Yeah.
wholesome, but it was a fresh take on them. So like I don't want to spoil anything from the book, but like the stoner
Yeah.
has some surprising moments and
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you liked it.
I
Yeah, it was fun to write that mix of people.
I kind of picture like that control room somewhere with your characters, like messing with their weed and all kinds of stuff.
Right?
The other thing I wanted to say, well, we should probably talk about what it's about first. So, how would you describe the Clatter Man, which is the
Oh god.
newest book she's written that came out this year in 2025?
So that book was so fun to write. So, and you know this, I'm sure. And now you have your first draft, but I'm sure you had an idea that kept on just right. Let's
Yeah,
wouldn't let you go. So that's how the Clatter Man started. Growing up in Ohio, we had the melon heads. We had an urban legend was, the melon heads. We had an crybaby bridge was another
I
urban
want to
legend.
ask you about that because that's you mentioned that in the afterword of your book, which I really
Yeah.
loved. Guys, stay for the afterword of the book. All right, it's
I love
good.
I love reading the afterwards because I love to read the afterwards myself. I'm sure you
Yeah,
do
it's
too.
like DVD special features. I really love
Yeah,
it.
right? Yeah, that's how I feel it is
But
too.
I love that legend. It was so creepy.
Oh yeah, my friends and I used to do that. I mean, we used to just go on this bridge at night, usually like 12 or 1 in the morning, and we would just let the car idle. When there's a bridge close to my home. I've talked to other people about the Cryberry Bridge since publishing Clatter Man, and they've said that I think it's in PA. I don't know. This kind of urban legend is kind of throughout. It seems to be kind of a lot in the Midwest. But yeah, we would kind of let the car idle, and then we would kind of trick ourselves to hear like a baby cry. It was so spooky. I loved it. It was very
That's
spooky.
really cool. I've heard of the movie that was on Nickelodeon that got banned called Crybaby Lane, but I've never heard it. I mean,
I
so
never
that's what's
heard of the movie.
wonderful, and that's why I really enjoyed your book because you have completely different urban legends to the one we have. They've made
Mhm.
a couple shows kind of based on it. It's called Mel's Hole. So this guy
Oh,
called like the Art Bell show back in the day, and he says, "I got this hole. It's this bottomless hole in my backyard." And it gets weird because Art brought him back over and over again. He's like, "Yeah, I threw my dog in it. My dog came back from the dead, and the hole moves, and the government's all over it." And I went to school in Ellensburg, where this hole supposedly is. So it became like a regular thing when you got really drunk and the bars were all closed. You'd go look for Mel's hole, like pass out in a field somewhere.
no, but
Never
that's what
found
you
it.
do, right?
That's what you do. And then you're like, no. And like one time we got ourselves so scared because there was a convoy of military trucks because there is a military base nearby. And we're like, that's proof right there. You
That's so
mess with
great.
yourself. Like, it's so true. And I think that's a big part of this book. And I was thinking about that a lot. So, the Clatter Man, to catch you guys up to speed if you haven't read it, which, by the way, all of Janelle's books are only 99 cents on Amazon. I made a link for you guys. Check it out. I got it and I really loved it. So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah. Um, the Clatter Man, it's like kind of an urban legend story mixed with a
Mhm.
slasher movie. It's also a cabin in the woods movie. How would you describe it?
Actually, I would describe exactly like that. I mean, I took a lot of inspiration from Cabin in the Woods. I also love Cabin Fever. I know there's a love-hate thing with Cabin Fever, but I happen to love that.
I
I
love
just really
it.
say
I
it,
also thought
right?
of Evil Dead. I pictured that cabin, even though later
Oh,
on, I had to look up what an A-frame cabin was. I'm like, oh no, that's way fancier than what I was picturing.
oh,
A
they're
lot
so aren't they
nicer. They're so
gorgeous?
pretty.
So pretty.
So
Yeah.
beautiful. So yeah, I kind of think of it as Candyman meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mhm.
That's uh that's kind of what I would say because you've got the urban legend aspect of it. And they
Mhm.
even mentioned Candyman at one point, you know, and everyone's had these games you play, like Bloody Mary, Candyman. I've never done this stuff and I've never played with a Ouija board because I've seen a lot of horror movies, okay, guys? And don't read the Latin. To me, it's asinine because I'm just like, well, best case scenario, you're bored. Worst case scenario, you're dead. Why would you do this? But
It's like
your book kind of helped me understand it. I think it's like going on a roller coaster seeing a horror movie. It's like toying with the idea of something dangerous and you want that confirmation that there's nothing out there and then you go back to having a
yes.
good time. And that's not what happens to these people. That was a really big
It's
mistake.
and you always have that one character like Val who just wants to just, hey guys, let's like see if this works. Everyone's no, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, she was the one who kind of made me realize it because she just wanted to kind of prove for herself because it was freaking her out. So you want to
mhm.
prove that it's not real. I'm way too scared to do that. So,
It's funny. So just like you, so when I was younger, another reason why I wrote the Clatterman is because when you mentioned Candyman and Bloody Mary, my friends and I, when we were young, we did that a lot. Well, we never did Candyman because he's way too scary. Like I'm not toying with Candyman. Like I'm not.
no.
No way. I mean, there's no way. Bloody Mary, we used to go and we used to, close the bathroom door, it'd be, so dark, and we said it 2 times, and then we just ran out. Like we could
Yeah,
never do the third time.
I could never do. I mean, I heard friends who did, and you always hear stories from someone who was like, "Oh, I know somebody who actually got killed." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." And
Right? I know. It's
when
like
we
it's that.
grew up, we couldn't just look on the internet and debunk it. You just believed it.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so it was a different time. Um, and what made you choose the Pennsylvania setting? Like, I don't know much about Pennsylvania, but it's a lot of wooded area, right? It's
It's a
pretty.
lot, and a big reason why. So growing up in Ohio, we did visit PA a lot, and actually, my family and I had rented during COVID. We had rented a cabin by the lake in Pennsylvania, and it was an A-frame. It was gorgeous, So that really really inspired it. But then I kind of took that, and I took my memory of going to PA, and there's all the cows and the pigs and just the desolate roads. So it fits so well with just a horror setting. It just and I'm sure you've read Clatterman, so you notice how I really love I just love to detail things. I really love to try to instill fear. I know it sounds so nerdy, but you understand. You're writing. I love words. I love taking words and arrange them in a way that really scares you. There's just something so fun about that.
How do you find your inspiration for that? Because it seems to me like reading the book. It's to me it seemed very visual. Like I could see it in my head. Is that how it is for you when you're writing it? Is it like a movie?
Yes. So I'm sure like you, I started watching horror very young. My first really I watched The Gate when I was kind of like, 5 or 6. I mean it's a great movie. It's not like super
It's
scary.
gateway horror. It's perfect. Stephen Dorff is a
Yeah.
little kid and he's got that eyeball in his hand. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, and those little creatures, like,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I love me some claymation or puppets any
Oh,
day of the
I love
week. This is the Gory B
yes.
Movie channel here. We love that stuff.
It's so great. But my oldest brother, who I mentioned the afterward, he he had me watch Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 8. in that movie, I mean, and he had me watch it when Johnny Depp's being pulled into, the bed. And so I was like, oh, so I was half horrified and half, whoa, what is this? This is so cool, So, and after that, I've just been, I mean, I watched so many horror movies. So I take, from what you asked, I take a lot of inspiration from the movies I watch. Even The Substance, I love The Substance. Like when she's walking down that hallway with the reds and the yellows and her black hair against her yellow coat. Just I don't know.
When I don't want to spoil, I won't say the character's name, so hopefully this isn't easy
Mhm.
enough. But there's one scene where a character is attacked, and I had to look up the A-frame thing to picture what it was. But with the glass and everything, it was so much like something out of like a giallo film, like deep red. That's kind of what I was thinking of.
I love Deep Red. Oh, Deep Red. Suspiria was my first film I watched.
That too, because
But
of what's happening with the character.
yeah, yeah. But oh, I love that's actually why I wanted to write it that way. So it's so cool that it reminded you of that. I wanted to make it beautiful. While obviously it's this horrific scene, but I wanted to kind of make it slow motion so you feel like you're really seeing everything happen, the twinkling and you
Yeah, it
know.
was a really beautiful one. Another one I actually highlighted and I wanted to share for you guys. This is
Oh,
in the
I love
first chapter, so I'm not spoiling anything for you.
it.
But instantly I was hooked when I read this because I was just like, oh, that was chef's kiss. As the blade sliced through fatty brain matter, severing blood vessels and nerves, Shelley's eyes fluttered shut. I was like, it was good.
Right?
I liked it. I like it's nice and gory. I like me some gore. I feel like a lot of times we don't get a lot of the gory visuals. Like a lot of it has to,
Mhm.
I don't know, be tasteful or something. And I think you can actually be like really beautiful with these gore visuals. So that's one thing I really appreciated about the book and thought was really neat.
Oh, thank you. No, that's what I appreciate too. I mean, just seeing I love practical effects, I'm sure you love practical. I mean, just being able to see how, and like the giallo horror, I'm seeing how uh yeah, there can be beauty in it. I mean,
Yeah.
it can be, I mean, and also I don't know, it's just so I don't know, it's just so creative and a lot of people are scared of what's in the human body. I'm like, well, I mean, just I don't know. We got blood and we got muscles and tendons
Yeah.
and I mean, it's just part of the body. So
Hair's coming all over me. Fiore wants to know, Janelle, what's your favorite scary movie? I'm picturing this in the ghost face voice, guys. Curious.
so oh god. So I have to say Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite. And I actually watched it a few months ago again, and the practical effects are still really amazing. They're so
So
good to this
good.
day. A close second is Saw, though. I
That's
mean,
a good one
Saw.
too.
When my husband and I watched Saw when we lived in Brooklyn, there was this little theater we went to, and we were so excited. It came out in October around Halloween, and I remember when Tobin Bell, stands up at the end of the movie, the whole theater was just like the big hush. And I've
That's the thing.
never.
I talk a lot. And I remember seeing that movie in the theater and I didn't say anything for 20 minutes. I went with my boyfriend at the time and then we went out to get like pie afterwards and I was just like, I was just thinking about it for the longest time. That one really got me. And
It
then
was.
Nightmare on Elm Street, I love that one too, but it took me a long time. So, I mean, I was even more sheltered than most 90s and 80s
Woo!
kids because I grew up on an Air Force base. So we had
That's so
really
cool.
no outside references to stuff. So
Mhm.
on the older kids told me that Freddy Krueger was a real kid and his parents beat him with a hot frying pan and that's why he looks like that and he kills kids now that he's an adult. And I was like, well, that's really scary. I don't think I'm ready to watch that. That's really too much. But now it just sounds so ridiculous. Like these days you would just Google it. It's crazy. Um I was also going to ask you, and I caught this, Clay. I saw the titles of your other books.
Mhm.
So you have The Ghost Room and Death Cult, and they
Yeah.
mention a death cult in the beginning. And I'm like, that's an Easter egg. I was like
Yes.
that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I was like, I saw it, I caught it, I'm in. So is there a shared universe in your books?
So kinda, yeah. I mean, yeah, I really love Easter eggs and I really love connecting them because just hearing you say this, I've heard from so many readers who told me the same thing and they're, oh my God, I'm so right, and it's just so fun to hear that as an author. So yeah, I'm kind of like making them, kind of a
And
shared universe.
death cult, so that's like a cannibal cult, right? And then you've got
Yeah.
the ghost one. So are you going to dip into a lot of different subgenres, or do you have one that you feel most comfortable in?
Oh, as far as like the future of my,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So I love exploring different subgenres of horror. I absolutely love it. So Spider is very different from Clatter Man and Death Cult. It's a story that I just had, just it just wouldn't let me go. I had to write it. It's a novella. The Clatter Man sequel is going to be longer than Clatter Man, so that's going to be a lot longer.
Yeah,
But
you're working
Spider was,
on Clatterman 2 and Spider. What's Spider about?
oh gosh. So I don't want to give away too much, but so the main character's name is Jenna, and she begins experiencing this sensation that a lot of us experience at least once in our lifetimes. And her friends kind of are like, "Oh no, it's okay. Don't worry about it." Um, but it turns out to be very, very, very bad. And it's more psychological, because it's different, because it centers around Jenna, where my other, Clatterman has what, there's like, there's five characters in Clatterman, and then Death Cult has three main characters. So Spider just has Jenna. So it was really cool for me to kind of like go in her head, and as Jenna's discovering these things, you're discovering them with her. But some of these things, I don't want to give too much away, but I love it so much. I just love it, and I love spiders. Spiders are really cool creatures, and I
Pipkin's
have a
very
little.
happy. He's right here.
Oh, there's your three dogs.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
Pipkin, Poe,
cool.
Cuddles. We got a lot of
Oh
them.
my gosh, and you got the little jumping
Yeah,
spiders.
she's in her Super Mario Brothers enclosure.
That's so cool. I love that so much.
I found out it's kind of like Clatter. A group of spiders is called a clutter.
No way.
Yeah,
That's really cool. I
yeah.
did not know
So you
that.
could have a clutter man who has a bunch of spiders. What up?
Very cool. What up? You got their cute little toes. No, because they have little feet. Spiders have like little. They
Yeah,
got
they
their little.
actually have paws like cats. So if you touch their little paw, like how they have little kind of claw, it's not sharp, that extends. But yeah,
Yeah,
they like to do that. They like you put your little finger out and they'll touch your hand.
it's really cute.
They're so adorable. I also want to talk about the actual Clatterman because we did have a question
Mhm.
in here. Kelly said, "Where do you get the inspiration for the killers in your writing? Is it imagination or are they things from your dreams?"
Oh, that's such a good question. So a lot of it is from childhood, and like watch the movies I watched during my child. A lot of it was mainly from movies. So he was a big inspiration. I feel like Candyman, a little bit of Freddy Krueger inspired him, and I just I love urban legend tales. So I kind of took things from movies I really enjoyed and I kind of smushed them together, but then I kind of put my own spin on it. Um, so I love the whole aspect of the conjuring. I don't know, there's just something cool about that where you have this group of friends and they're kind of scared. And then the Clatterman, it was really cool to think up his conjuring because right, so it's got this kind of cool, it's almost like a personal effect when you conjure him up. Um, so I really just wanted to create my own urban legend and put like a different spin on the killer and kind of instill him with you kind of feel sad for him
Yeah,
because he's kind of like,
I would put him in the same realm as like Leatherface or Jason, where I feel bad for them. Like I was a kid who was
"Mhm,
bullied, and I always felt sympathy for Jason and thought,
yep,
hey, we would be buds, my dude. But yeah,
yeah,
Clatterman, his story really made me think of Candyman. How there's
hmm
almost kind of a romantic origin to it, and I don't want to give a lot away, but yeah, he's got a sad backstory where he lost his family.
yeah, it is sad. Yeah, it was really cool to write that. It took me a while to kind of whip that together, and then of course the sound you hear,
The wind
that
chimes.
was kind of cool. It's I just kind of that just kind of popped in my head one day. I was like, how do you know he's there?
That would
You
be
could just,
creepy. It kind of makes me think of like when the phone rings after the ring.
oh god, yeah, yes, oh gosh,
Like
so
that's
scary.
confirmation that you done fucked up.
Yeah, you're done. Like good
You
luck. Good luck
yeah,
getting out of this.
you're screwed now. And
You're
it's kind
screwed.
of funny, I didn't notice it when I was reading it, but now that you mention how much you love A Nightmare on Elm Street, I think I see a lot of that in Abby, how she has those dreams. And she even
Yeah.
says, like, if he gets all Freddy Krueger, like, wake me up. But then the guy sleeps. Like, I was like, girl, I would not let him sleep. Like, that did not work out well for Nancy, but it worked
I
out
know for
okay.
Nancy, it didn't work out good.
Oh my gosh. No. Don't ever trust somebody to wake you up. It's just, no, it's ridiculous. I've tried this because I have sleep paralysis a lot, and usually the most I can do is kind of like with my breath a little bit. So if I'm
Yeah.
having a bad night, I'll tell my husband, like, no, you're not sleeping. You're just watching me. Because if somebody just touches me, then I wake up like all the way.
So it's so interesting you mentioned that. So I had sleep paralysis. I want to say it was like 3 times in 2 weeks, but it was, I want to say 15 years. No, over 15. No, okay, 15, 16 years ago I had it. And it is legit terrifying.
I get it
So
a lot,
you had
especially
like,
because I take medication and stuff, and if I don't take my medication at the same time, then it
mm,
gets really, really bad. So a lot of times my husband will be like, "Did you take your pill?" It gets bad, and the worst part is you have hallucinations. And I've heard a lot of people say things like someone's sitting on their chest. I've never experienced that. The stuff I experience is things where I need to get there right away. Like when my son was little, I was a single
mhm,
mom. And
mhm.
I was taking a nap and I had sleep paralysis and I heard the window break. I heard my son screaming, and I really was trying to move so I could get to him. And it sounded like something terrible was happening to him, and I just couldn't. But it was just a hallucination. He was completely
Mm.
fine.
Oh god, that's so scary. Yeah, when I had my first one, I heard this voice that said, "Let's go outside, Janelle," but it was a really deep voice. It was, "Just go outside," you know? And my eyes shot open, and my husband was, like, inches away from me, and I was trying to reach out to him, and I couldn't move. And then I had ones where, I was sinking into my bed, and then ones where I felt the sheets being pulled off of me.
Yeah,
Um,
not seen a lot of people. I did have one where someone was. I guess I have had one where someone was sitting on top of me, but it wasn't like an old lady. Someone was just making cuts in my skin.
oh my
And, like, I
gosh.
could feel it, but then, when you and it doesn't take much to wake you up when you have sleep paralysis, just someone just needs to touch you.
Yep.
And so sometimes, like, I'll have a hard night and my husband's right there, and sometimes you can kinda move your finger a little bit and you're
A
just
little
freeze,
bit, yeah.
or you can, like, go do stuff with your breath, and it feels like it's hours, but it's, like,
Oh,
seconds.
yeah.
It's not that
It's
long.
terrifying, and it's hard to breathe, like, you can breathe,
Yeah.
but right? It's so hard, it's like you're, like, paralyzed, like, you can kinda breathe, but it's, like, it's really tough to get the
Then
air in.
you get, like, saliva and stuff, and then sometimes I'm like, "Well, what would happen if I just stopped breathing? Like, how would anybody know?" They'd be like, "Oh, she just died in her sleep."
Oh my god, I know.
Probably would never
It
happen, but it's still scary. You should
it's so
yeah,
scary.
put some of
Yeah.
that stuff in your book. That stuff's scary. I read a sleep paralysis one recently where they boned their paralysis demon. It wasn't that scary. It was
Um,
in those, like, sexy short stories by Amazon this last year. So there's one.
oh, okay, okay.
Um We have a question from Rod Gilly. I hope I'm saying that right. Janelle, you bring your readers' imaginations into your
Aw, Rod.
stories. How many saw the drag race scene as I loved it? Freaking awesome. Oh yeah,
Aw,
the
thank
drag
you,
race scene
Rod.
with the car at the
Yeah, so I
end.
was really into cars. I mean, I loved cars. I still love car. I don't know. I'm always looking at the new models but when I was in senior year of high school and into college, my friends and I just like loved a lot of them had like zooped up cars, and we were kind of go driving around. And we did a lot of racing, so it was kind of fun to put that in the story.
Yeah, my brother gets that a lot because he's really into cars, and he's like, sometimes you just want to go to the grocery store. But like when you have a car like that you get a lot of that at the stoplight. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. And I
Wow.
wanted to talk a little bit more because you mentioned that your characters are based a lot on people you know. Like you talked about your friend group, and in the first book they were
Mhm.
based on your close friends. You mentioned in the afterword of the Clatter Man that Abby's based on your parents.
So she's kind of a mix, I mean, Abby, and kind of based on me as well. Like I I lost my, well, I lost both my parents before I wrote Clatter Man, and her mom is a lot like my mom, and her values and the way she acts are really similar to how my mom was. So yeah, I kind of wanted to infuse her with those qualities. It just kind of felt, it felt really sweet to do that.
Is that
Yeah.
something that you find really healing, like bringing characters, like basing them on people you know, and then bringing them into your fiction?
Yeah, it is really healing. It really is. It goes that way, but it also goes another way with Spider. Spider's really it's pretty horrific. It's really it's a good thing to not happen to Jenna. And while I was writing Spider, my brother Brian was suffering from cancer. He passed away last year, and I was just filled with rage, and so that story really helped me get out my feelings. I was so mad. So I guess it can go both ways, which is so nice. It's a great thing about writing. You can kind of heal yourself, and you can just vent.
It's like cathartic. There was
Yeah.
something you wrote in there too that really resonated with me just from my writing. So I wrote my whole first draft, right? Which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's about werewolves. I
Oh, that's
finished
so
writing it, and at the end of it, I was like, no, it's not just about werewolves. It's about my son. My son has a special needs condition,
cool.
and
Yeah.
just the frustration. I just realized all of that was there, and I was like, I didn't even know that was there. It was a lot deeper than I
Yeah.
thought it was, and it made me real. I think that's why it's so like hard for me to get let go of it, just because it is so personal. Even though on the surface it's
Mhm.
like, girl, it's a book about werewolves. Calm down. But you had something like that in your book where you said you didn't realize that the wind chime thing was connected to your parents. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, that was really cool when I wrote that because one of my best friends had bought me wind chimes, after they passed away. They had these beautiful inscriptions on them. I'm like, wow, I had no idea. As I was writing the afterword, that kind of just, I'm like, whoa, that was completely subconscious because wasn't even thinking about that when I wrote it.
Like
Um,
tapped
and
into something that was just completely un you were unaware of.
Yeah, it
That's
was
really
so
cool.
cool. And the funny thing is that a lot of readers have told me, like, darn it, Janelle, whenever I hear wind chimes now, I'm like, did I somehow conjure up the Clatter
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Man?
I'm gonna think of that because I like to read out in the backyard with the wind chimes out there. I'm
I
gonna
know,
freaking I wouldn't do that though, because I told you. I don't mess
right?
around. I don't read the Latin. I don't conjure stuff. I don't say anything 5 times ever.
No,
No, not this
you just
girl.
never know.
Never know. Like we even have like our friend, one of my friends works at Warner Brothers, and they send us a lot of gifts.
Cool.
So he sent me a Beetlejuice Ouija board, and it's like, oh, that can't be bad. No, I'm not messing around with it. I don't care who's on it. My husband's got an Elvira Ouija board. No, it can be in the house, but I'm not touching it. I'm not stupid. Not that your characters are
God.
stupid, they're just misguided and young.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just a big baby, but being a big baby keeps you alive, guys. So, you know.
I always think that too. I'm like, you should never lose that childhood spark. You really should never lose that. It's
Yeah.
important.
I want to talk a little bit more about your writing process because, as
Mhm.
somebody who I love reading books about writing. I love talking to authors and stuff, and it's so fascinating how I think everyone has such a unique way of going about their writing, and I could
Mhm.
certainly use some advice. So, I think the first question I wanted to ask you is, what made you decide to self-publish?
So yeah, so I for a second I considered trying to pursue a publisher. But then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so self-publishing, when I published Ghost Room, it was already pretty accessible. Now it's very accessible. And um with social media, when you self-publish, you can grow your audience that way. You don't need a publisher. Um and also, I didn't want to adhere to a certain word count. I want to write my stories the length I want them, and I want to write whatever the hell I want to write. I don't want to have to adhere to them. I don't write for the mainstream. I write stories that I love. And I absolutely love my readers. I'm connected with so many wonderful readers on social media. I love talking to them, and it's so wonderful to connect with people based on writing what you love and not writing what you. And I'm not saying this is. I mean, I'm sure for a lot of people, everybody just loves to write for mainstream, and that's great. But that would not be my heart and soul, and I feel like I would just be like, so yeah, that was a big reason too. So not writing for the mainstream, writing what I love. using social media to kind of,
Kind of
you
funny
know,
you mentioned that too, because I have my cousin's a screenwriter and he wrote
oh,
a
cool.
book, and he said it was harder to get the book published than to get involved in screenwriting. But
Mm.
like he made the Leatherface prequel and he worked on Hellfest and some other stuff. He loves
Oh, that I love
Leatherface so
Hellfire.
much.
Hellfire's so fun.
Seth Sherwood. But he wrote this book, and he said when he was going to get it traditionally published, they asked him like how many followers he had on stuff. So I think even if you traditionally publish, like they care so much about that. Even actors like
They
Matthew
really do.
Lillard, when I met him at a convention, he was
Oh,
telling
you
me
met
like
him? I never met
he's so
him.
cool. They say when they cast people, they check your Instagram followers and stuff, which is so
That's so
weird.
crazy.
So
God, I so
like you
I
still have
get
to market yourself, even if you get traditionally published. Like
that's the
what
thing. You
the
do.
heck?
Yeah, I mean, you still gotta market yourself. So it's kind of like, and with that in mind as well, I was like, wait a minute, I want to do whatever the hell I want to do. I want to do it the way I want to do it. And I am my brand. So it's nice to be able to, yeah, I know it sounds kind of like stale brand, but but I love horror and I love to laugh. I love a lot of different, a lot of different things, but it's like I am kind of my stories in a way. Like, I don't know, I just, I'm just a big horror fan. So it's fun to be able to build my brand and kind of just not have someone else, this is what Janelle's like. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works, but
Yeah, no, I get that a lot, and especially I think especially with horror. Guys, let me know if I am cutting in and out a bit. I'm gonna try to turn my mic up. There we go. Let me know if it's bad. I went to college and I got a degree in English, but with a specialization in creative writing, and it was
Mhm.
really fun. Except for they would never accept anything horror. So like my professor
Oh,
would be like, "It was really good." Until we got to the part with the zombies, but I'm like, but the zombies are fun. Like I don't know about
yes.
you, but I think those kind of things make it easier to access stuff that is really serious. Like you said, you've got some serious stuff going on in these books that are pulling from your experience with your family. Like there
Mhm.
is real heart there.
Mhm.
But I think having that horror stuff, it makes it a little easier to access that stuff without just like stabbing yourself in the heart.
No, I absolutely agree. It's you can kind of layer it and kind of yeah, just tell it the way you want to, and you can use those different, yeah, those different
I think
ways
it's
to kind of
as a
build
reader,
it.
I think it's more interesting too. My favorite show is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and you can just watch it, and it's about a girl who fights vampires and demons. But you can also watch it, and you can be like, it's a girl who's dealing with growing up. It's a girl who's dealing with the
Mhm.
loss of her parent. It's a girl who's dealing with raising hers. There's a lot of layers to it. So, like, I
Mhm.
love that because if you want it, there is a whole other meal there for you to bite into. But if you don't want
Exactly.
it, you can also just enjoy it as
Yeah.
what it is. And I think horror is one of the only genres you can do that. Just
It's oh, I'm sorry. It's
did I cut
oh,
out?
sorry. Oh yeah, first I yeah, for a little bit.
Oh no! What is going on with my microphone? That's the saddest thing that's ever happened to me. No, it's actually not, but it's kind of up there. I'm kind of worried about it. All right, it's right in front of my face. You guys hit it on the little butt on the back. All right. Hopefully it's good. It's really right in front of my face, guys. So hopefully it's good. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit too. All right. Sorry about that. So I saw we had a question from Rod Gilly. He wants to know: is the Clatter Man a prequel, a continuation, or does he step into an entirely different world?
So it is a continuation, but it's a different setting. So
Is he going to come to the Pacific Northwest and find Sasquatches and sparkly vampires? Because, oh my God, please write me into the book.
oh man, you never know.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's a continue, and I do want to. I'm halfway through it, but I would like to kind of when Rod mentions prequel, I would like to kind of put a little more of his past in there too, because as you said, I think I could pull on the heartstrings a little bit more, with the Clouder
Yeah.
Man. But
It's so
I can go. Yeah, I love my gore.
it's so scary when there's a part where one of the characters is trying to pull, I call it pulling on a Jenny. You know,
Mm,
Jenny in Friday the 13th part 2 where she puts on the sweater and you're like, "Ah, That's a dicey move there, my lady. Like,
Yeah.
not everybody. I mean, the guy in part 3 is wearing the exact same sweater, and he gets his eyeballs popped out. So I don't think that's gonna help you every time. But Jenny, it works. She uses psychology. Tommy Jarvis tries it. So we have a character who's basically trying to sympathize with him. And I like
Mhm.
this because, like I said, I always thought, like, if I met Jason, I'd be like, hey, I get you. Let's be buddies.
Yeah. You've been through
I
some stuff.
probably would still get killed. Let's be realistic. I don't think it's going to work out for me, but I'm going to give it a shot. Same thing with Leatherface. I would just feel really bad for him. Like,
I
why is
know.
everyone coming into your house? That isn't cool. But, whatever.
You're just trying
Why
to live in peace,
why
and
is
everyone's
Drayton hitting you with stuff? That ain't nice. Like, we should go have fun and do something fun together. So,
yeah.
but there is an effort to sympathize with him. But he's also a really big, scary dude who throws around freaking chains and stuff, guys. Like he's like he may like size wise, I'm thinking like Leatherface. So like
Yes, that's kind of what I had in mind. In fact, it's funny. So when my cover artist, who's amazing, her name's Jelena Gajic, she's incredible. She did the cover for Spider, which I can't wait to release. She had sent me the cover art, and she sent me the back cover, and it wasn't what I wanted. And I'm like, Jelena, oh, this is what I told her. I'm like, think Jason, kind of similar. I was like, think Jason Voorhees, think that. And then she sent it back and it was like, that's perfect. I'm like, he's got to be wearing a large trench coat, but he's got to be really hefty. So when you look on the back of the paperback or, the hardcover, there's a picture of kind of the silhouette, and he's very menacing.
that's pretty cool. Is Abby gonna be back in Clatter Man too?
Yes.
Oh my god. So okay, you don't have to answer this because this is kind of spoilery, but this is the question I want to ask. I mean, we've already seen that not all the relationships in this book are set in stone. Don't get super
Yeah.
attached to your ships here. Is there a world where Abby and the Clatterman fall in love?
I don't know. I haven't, honestly, it's not off the table, but,
That's what I'm thinking. They had a moment and it made me think of freaking Candyman. You know that moment where Tony Todd's being all super sexy and stuff, and he's all like,
yeah.
be my victim. And she's all like, maybe, right? I kind of thought that was happening in Clatterman.
Yeah. Oh, at the end? No, I see what you
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's his long lost. Yeah, his long
Kind of
lost.
shipped it for like half a second. And then I was like, get the fuck away from him. He's going to hurt you. Oh my gosh. I was
I
so
know,
worried.
right?
But there is that, isn't there? There is that in a lot of slasher movies. I mean, even if it's not explicitly in the movie, if you look back to Nightmare on Elm Street, remember all the pictures where they had Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy, like with Freddy Krueger, like holding her romantically? Like, there's a weird thing with final girls and their killers. Even, have you seen the movie Behind the Mask?
No.
Oh my
How did
gosh,
I
girl,
see that?
girl, you
Behind the
need to see this movie.
Oh, wait, yeah, what is it about? Because it's familiar. The
It's a
title's
guy
familiar.
who he basically says he is a supernatural slasher. There's a whole legend about him in town, and a girl's
Okay.
doing a documentary of him, and he's explaining how he does stuff. He's like, you got to do cardio because like they're running their asses off, and you have to look like you're walking and stuff. Like he's explaining all the tricks and how he has an Ahab, which is like your Dr. Loomis, so your person who wants to hunt you down. But you
Yeah.
also have a final girl, and she needs to fit specific criteria, and he
Mm.
has a mentor and he married his final girl. They're like joking.
Oh,
They're
really?
yeah.
That's so cool. Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah.
I
You
gotta check it out.
really
I know I've heard of that. A few people have talked, they mentioned that movie, and it's on my list, and yeah.
it's crazy
I
because
got
the first half is like a mockumentary. It's like a documentary. And you're having
okay.
fun and they're kind of playing with the tropes and stuff. And then it turns into a horror movie and shit gets insane.
Oh
And
man.
it's really, really good. So it's
Like
Behind
practical
the
effects and
Mask.
stuff?
Huh?
Okay. Like practical effects and stuff, or
Yeah, practical effects. I mean, it's very low budget, but
yeah.
it does have Robert Englund in it. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
so he's the guy who's trying to get Leslie Vernon. But it's really good. So like the first half's a mockumentary, and the second half is just a straight up slasher movie. And so this
Okay.
guy who you think you're friends with, you've been joking around with him the first half of this movie, then he gets really scary, and you're like, oh no, I don't know him, and there is something really scary here. So. Ugh.
It's funny. I'm thinking about the Creep franchise as you talk about that, because he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, It's like you have fun with him, the character, but you never forget that he is really scary. You don't want to be alone with this person. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Leslie and the killer, when he switches, it's just like the blackest eyes, the
Mm,
devil's eyes. You know what I'm talking about. You
yeah. Mm.
know what's up. Checking in with the chat a little bit. Rod wants to know how your short story collection is coming along.
Oh gosh, so I'm so happy you asked about it. So it's funny. So Rod writes really good short stories. He's very good at writing short stories. I've read a few of his books and I really enjoyed them. They're very creative, and he's able. Here's the funny thing. So novellas are my sweet spot. I love writing novellas. The Clatter Man 2 is going to be closer to a novel length. Um, Short stories, they're tricky. So I give Ron a lot of props to the short story writers because it's not easy to write a short story, but I do have a lot of ideas. And my husband and my son, I love them so much. They are amazing. They listen to my story ideas every day, and they're so sweet. And they give me
How old is your
feedback.
son?
He's 13.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, he's so sweet. And I just had an idea the other day of a short story. I mentioned to them, like, oh, that's cool, so I do want to write. So Clatterman 2's, going to come out after Spider, and then I would love to write a book of short stories. I do have like two solid ideas. The funny thing is that Spider was supposed to be a short story, but then I always like to joke it grew legs, and it became a novella. Um,
What do you think makes the novella the sweet spot for you? Like, not quite a novel, longer than a short story?
Yeah. Okay, so I do think that, I mean, I read a lot of novels, but I love reading novellas. First of all, I have a short attention span. I'm a slow reader, and I don't like a story to drag on too long. I get kind of bored sometimes,
Yeah.
like with the publishers, a lot of like, so I love Nick Cutter. I read The Troop and I
Oh,
read The Deep.
yeah. Yeah. Those are both great.
Those are really, I love them. I really love The Troop. The Deep felt like it had a little bit of filler in there sometimes, and I don't know, for me,
Honestly,
it felt.
that's my complaint with movies and books a lot of times these days. Like, I
Yeah.
love Stephen King, but I feel like he's gotten to the point where they don't edit anything out of his books because he's Stephen King, and I'm all like 100 pages of that we didn't need.
No,
I mean,
that's the
even
thing.
in some of his classics, like The Shining, there's like a whole chapter of him just reading everything in the Overlook Hotel. Like, dude, I'm not here for that. Get back to the spooky dooky shit, right? Nobody's here for
Exactly.
that. But
No, that's the
movies
thing.
even are like 2 hours long now, and so
Oh
like,
God.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know what though?
Why
Really
was
quick.
Megan 2.0 2 hours long? Come
Oh,
on.
I haven't watched that yet, by the way. What'd you think? Did you like it or
I like the first
okay.
one. I
Yeah.
think, like when parents try to be hip and they're like, "Look, I got fidget spinners and stuff," right? It's an outdated reference. But that's kind of how Megan felt. It's like, "Oh, wait, they're into the meme culture and they like her dancing and stuff." So it felt like someone's mom made a Megan movie trying to impress their kid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's not
It's
that's
not
not
terrible, but
Yeah.
it's not really the layer of horror and everything that it was before. Because the first movie takes itself seriously, but you have
Yeah,
fun
it was
with
really
it.
good.
They just went
Mhm.
too far in the other direction, I think. Not
Okay.
terrible, but it's not,
Yeah.
you can
Mm.
wait on it. Like if it's
Okay.
streaming and it's on, check it
That's
out.
good to know.
I also want to ask about parenting. So like I feel like it's kind of hard because I've been a teacher and I'm a mom,
Yep.
and I'm always kind of scared to be like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a horror YouTube show where I swear and I talk about a whole bunch of gross stuff like cats puking up smaller mutant cats. You have this whole world where you're like dicing up teenagers. Do you feel like you need to hide that when you go to the PTA meetings, or are you like, what's up, Janelle Schiecke? Like,
I know, it's funny. So I'm kind of an introvert. Like I'm a kind of a mix of an introvert extrovert. So it's funny with the PDA, I just give money. I'm like, here's my money. Um just do what you want with the money. But yeah, I it's funny. I don't I'm kind of like I guess like in real life, like I don't know. I mean, well, people
it's
people
like
that
you
I
have
people
a
that
secret identity.
secret.
By day, she's a mom. By night, she's killing teenagers in fiction.
That's so funny. No, but you know what's funny? I'm a Gemini as well. So it's like I absolutely love it because everyone's like, I mean, people, my friends, when I started writing horror, they're like, oh God, they're like, we know that you love horror, Janelle, but gosh, how do you write that stuff? You're so nice. And I'm like, I'm nice, but that doesn't mean that that I don't want to write about people get
I feel like when you like Eli Roth has shared a lot of studies on this that horror fans tend to be nicer and more well
yeah.
adjusted because they're not restricting themselves, that they're not afraid to confront those emotions and those dark sides in themselves. And I think there's a lot of truth to it. For instance, my name Gory B Movie came from when I
Mhm.
played roller derby. That was my roller derby name.
You did roller
And
derby. That's so cool.
yeah, I had like my face painted up and stuff. And so it was my son's idea because he's like, well,
Aw.
you're too nice. They're going to kill you. So I did face paint and stuff. And then afterwards, I'd always meet girls at the after party. They're like, you're so nice. Like, I thought with the horror movie and stuff that you'd be really scary, but no. I'm like, no, dude, I'm well adjusted. I watch a lot of messed up
It's
movies.
It's so funny because I have that too. A lot of people I've met on social media, they've said the same thing, like you're so nice, and it's like that's part of what I love about the horror community though, because I've been into horror for so long and I've always noticed that the horror family we're just pretty open-minded, like really supportive, and the cool thing about the community is like if someone's new to horror, we're like, oh yeah, welcome, like check these movies out. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know, we
I
just all
love
have
that at conventions. I feel like I can talk to anybody there. I just did my friend's
Mhm.
podcast, which is about rides, and I talked about the Secret Life of Pets ride. I felt so out of my element, but like horror movies, I really feel like I can talk to anybody. Like we're now best friends because we like
Yeah,
horror movies.
yeah, yep.
How do you connect with your readers and with other authors? Is it mostly through social media, or do you have like groups and such where you meet these people?
Mostly social media. Yeah, and really, I mean, that's it. I mean, social media, I have the largest following on X and I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. But I've really loved it because when I first started out, I was just I don't know, I wasn't really sure what to do. So I was just kind of do my thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, I really like movies. I watch a lot of movies. So I just started talking about movies more. And now it's almost like I obviously talk about my books, but I really enjoy just connecting, talking about movies or posting about my cats. I have two cats.
I
Um,
get that. I got my eight-legged cats. I have one cat too.
Aw.
And my dogs. You see the dogs? They're here too.
I see the dogs right there,
Got a
yeah.
whole menagerie.
Oh, they're so cute. They're so cozy. But yeah, no, and I'm just genuine. I'm myself, I can tell you're the same way. You're just, it's just as long as you're genuine and you are who you are and you're not putting on any airs, people enjoy talking to you. People like people who are genuine, you know?
You know what I think it
Yeah.
is? Because when I was a kid, I don't know about you, but I didn't know anybody else who liked horror movies. Like one of my brothers would I knew people who would dip their toe into it. Like my parents like horror
Mhm.
movies and stuff. My mom doesn't like slashers. I like pretty much everything. And so
Yeah.
was largely considered to be kind of a weirdo. And I really
Mm,
loved watching Joe Bob Briggs because I was like, oh, hey, there's other weirdos like me, even though
yeah.
I've never met them. We're a community. Like I that kind of thought about that before then. But
Mhm.
I think a lot of horror fans have had that experience where they are really interested in things that are scary or,
Mhm.
things that would a lot of people kind of avoid. And
Mhm.
they're feeling a little bit like a misfit or like an outcast, especially when you're connecting to these characters. You're like, okay, is there something wrong with me that I'm connecting to
Mhm.
Leatherface or the Clatter Man right now? Like, what's going on with me? And so when you meet other people, I feel like there's this instant like understanding, like you're a weirdo too. Like we get
Mhm.
each other.
I absolutely had that. So one of my best friends growing up, she loved horror. Actually, I had two best friends growing up that loved horror. We watched Dolls all the time. Oh god, we watched Face to Death. I mean, we were like crazy. We watched we watched all that stuff. And so I felt like I grew up with these two really good friends who were also into horror. So it was so fun. But I was also never considered myself normal. I also considered myself kind of like one of the weirdos. I was never really into like what was normal, and that may be kind of abnormal sometimes, which was fine with me. I don't really want to be, doing all the mainstream stuff or whatever. But as like you said, that I found that horror community, uh, I mean, was just such creative, accepting people, and yeah, it's just yeah, I've
I
always
like
loved that about it.
with slashers too, because like my mother is a huge supporter of me and loves horror as well. But like slashers for her, that's like that's to be movie. It's not something that's super
Really?
respected.
Mm,
And I think what's great about a lot of horror fans, especially when they like slashers, they like the ones that you like, you feel a little validated because even in the horror community, there's you watch Scream 6 where she's like, or Scream 5 where she's all like, I like elevated horror. It's like, yeah, no. I mean, again, that's why I like Joe Bob Briggs so much. A lot of people would make fun of these movies that I really liked, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, yeah, I actually like that movie, Elvira. It's cool. Um, but Joe Bob would actually like talk about it like it was actual cinema, like with
mhm.
merit, and I think that's
Yeah.
something that horror, especially by mainstream audiences, gets neglected with. People don't
Mhm.
see the heart or the artistry or the passion that goes into a movie. I would much rather watch something like Leprechaun where I know a lot of heart and passion and work went into that as opposed to
Mhm.
whatever generic superhero movie came out. I'm not saying they all are. There are a lot of them with great heart too. But sometimes
Yeah.
you see one where it's like we're just checking off boxes here. We're just trying to
Mhm.
make money.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I really love indie horror, really anything
Yeah,
indie.
yeah.
But indie horror is always, and indie it's so cute. My son was playing, oh god, what was it called? It's this little game with a crab, and, he came up to me the other day, he's like, "Mom, guess what?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm playing an indie game, it's an indie video game because he knows it, indie is cool, because it
Yeah,
goes against
yeah.
and it's
He's a little
usually
hipster already. That's awesome.
yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah, I'm
Um
like that. I'm like, what? I was reading the Clatter Man before it was cool. I mean, actually that's not true. It was already cool. But what are
No.
some of your favorite indie authors and books that
Oh
maybe a lot of
gosh,
people don't know about?
I have so many favorites. So Dave Buzan, he wrote In the Lair of Legends, and I'm also reading In the Wrath of Legends right now. It's a sequel. I'm reading that. Mally McCobb wrote Dark Bloom, which I loved. What Comes Before, Without a Whisper, the sequel to Dark Bloom. I
I'm
just
writing
read
this
that.
down.
Yeah, oh great. That was really good. So Steve Stark, um, Violent Ends, and A Hot Dose of Hell. That's really fun. Gosh, there's so many more. JL Angle, he wrote A Dangerous Man, which is kind of like it's more like action, you know, uh I don't know, like action, but it has like a violent, like a lot of like cool fight scenes and action scenes. It's like a vigilante movie or book. It reads like a movie. That's why I said movie. Um,
So did your book.
oh, thank you.
I felt like it was
Oh,
like a
I
little
love
like
that.
VHS tape. Like I could see the tracking lines. It was
No,
really cool.
that's so great. I actually really I love movies so much, and so I really wanna, to write my books to feel like you're watching a movie while you read them.
And that's the thing. There's not actually a lot of slasher books. I find more of them with indie authors than with like the mainstream ones because I think maybe publishers are more nervous about slashers. But there really aren't. And so if you want that experience of a slasher movie with a book, like yours is one of the only ones I can really think of.
Oh, thank you. That's a big compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I want it, and, like, when you talked about that one scene, being like a gallows scene, I mean, that was my intention, um, to write it that way, and the prologue, I loved writing the prologue.
I
That was
liked the prologue a lot. Sometimes prologues, so that's the other thing that I think is really weird. And I wish there was more writers. I love to read books about writing, but I wish there was more
yeah,
books about writing horror because you hear a lot of people say, oh, don't do a prologue and stuff. And I think if you're doing some science fiction thing where your prologue is just like the 800 years of their planet, nobody cares. But with horror, we're used to it. We're used to that cold open kill. You
yes,
need that
exactly.
first kill to basically say, hold up, we're gonna get into like meeting our characters and stuff and setting the setting, but just so you know, here's a little taste of the monster or the killer. Here's just a little taste of it. So, I love that. Like you do that in your book. I mean, the one book I read, I'm gonna read the rest of them, I promise. And also Stephen Graham Jones does that. I really
Oh,
like that. Like I think in horror, that's a huge exception to the rule. I think prologues
yeah.
are a lot like, I mean, when you watch a horror TV show, they always do that. There's always the kill at the beginning, so it makes
Mhm,
sense. A couple horror authors, indie authors, I don't know if you've
mhm.
read them, that I really like. I really like Andrew Van Way. Have you read him?
No, I got my phone, I don't have a I'm gonna
I
I don't have my
adore
pen and
him.
paper.
He wrote Head Like a Hole, and it's set in the 90s, and it's grisly body horror, and he's super
Oh,
cool, and he's on social media and stuff too. But
what's
uh,
it? How do you spell his last name?
it's Van, and then the
Oh,
separate word is Way. Let me double
okay,
check.
gotcha. Okay.
It's a
Ooh, cool. Okay.
DRA
Thank you.
with an E,
Oh,
WEY. It's
oh,
fine.
okay, okay.
But yeah, he's great at kind of like Lovecraftian and body horror. But I also
Ooh,
loved that it was set in the 90s. Like your book to me felt like kind of reminiscent of the 80s, and also, a little bit of like that the 70s and stuff too, with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes. So I
yeah.
like that. I like a little bit of old school. Um,
Oh,
but his was really good, and he mentioned some things too, because I asked him a lot of the things I asked you about self-publishing
mhm,
and stuff. And one of the things he told me, I mean, he said a lot of the stuff you said about you having control over everything, but he
mhm.
also said that with horror, unless like very few people, like maybe Grady Hendrix and stuff, will get a big advance for a horror book. But he says
Really?
often they don't usually give those kind of paychecks to horror, which
Mm,
is just a real bummer since
it's so
I read like
weird.
100 books a year, guys, and they're almost all horror. Like, come on,
Right?
guys.
It's yeah, it's such a it's I don't what it's almost like it's not taboo anymore, but it's almost like I don't know, it's with this weird kind of it's almost like it's not up to the same standard, but it is, and a lot of times it's better.
And it's such a bummer. It's such a bummer because a lot of the
Yeah.
complaints my friends have told me about horror movies, like they're all the same, which I disagree. But in
Yeah.
books especially, I'm like, well then pick up some books, because there are some books that are way out there and they're doing things that people aren't making movies about. Like there's just a lot of
Whoa.
really original ones, and
Oh
other
my gosh.
things like people talk about how I have friends who talk about how there's not a lot of like trans characters or LGBT. I'm like,
Mhm.
you need to read books because like they're
Mhm.
way ahead of the curve as far as inclusion goes. Plus, guys, books don't, I mean, they get edited, but they don't get MPAA edited. So,
Yeah.
like you heard the brain matter, guys. The fleshy brain matter. I'm reading Tender as the Flesh right now.
Oh, you are.
That
That's
would
on
never be a movie. Never.
wow. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
a
I've heard
lot.
about that one. That's in my TBR. But I want to mention I read a book called Intercepts by TJ Payne. Have you heard
Yeah.
of that?
Nuh-uh.
Oh my god, you have to read it.
Okay,
It's
Intercepts.
so
Oh,
good. It's an
also,
indie
guys,
book.
guys, she's on Goodreads too, so I'm gonna have to. Like, I'm pretty like I don't really care what's going on in my friends' relationships, but I have to know what books you're reading and what movies you're watching. So if you're on Goodreads or Letterboxd, I will stalk you. I'm gonna have to go through your whole thing now and look at all the books you're reading.
I
Intercepts,
love
got it.
it's so good. Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, we still got a bit of time. There's a couple other questions I really wanted to ask.
Okay.
Um, I'm always fascinated by people who are like pantsers or plotters. So where
Yeah.
do you fall in that?
I'm definitely a pantser. So I don't like so being I don't want to say I'm a Gemini. I mean, but I'm very like I don't like planning too much. I think I just feel constricted if I plan too much. I just feel like my creativity is constricted. So what I do is I just kind of write each of my chapters will be maybe like a paragraph outline what's going to happen in the chapter, and then I'll just kind of write what happens. But as I'm writing, a lot of times my characters will all of a sudden do this thing, and I'm like, wait, what's going on, and then I'll kind of like continue writing, you know that path. I'll follow that path of that different choice, different decision they made, and a lot of times I'll stick with that, so I'll just change the story based on how I feel at the moment, and if it works, then great. So I really do pants a lot. Like I have a
I feel
lot
like
more fun that
pantsers
way.
get more done. I feel like I waste so much time outlining and I make spreadsheets for everything. Really love plotting stuff. But then you get kind of stuck in plotting stuff for forever. I guess what I'm really afraid of is like
Mhm,
writing myself into a corner, and no offense, we all love Stephen King. Guys, come
mhm.
on. Come on. You know what happened when he was writing The Stand? He had written like 1,000 pages and he's like, "Oh crap, what am I going to do?" Hand of God came down, and you're just like, that scares me. Does that scare you, or do you have an idea of where it's going to end?
I usually, it's funny. I a lot of times I start like with Spider, especially. Knew how it was going to end. And with Clatter Man, I kind of knew how it was going to end. And Death Call too. So okay, so a lot of my books, Ghost Room was different, but Death Call, Clatter Man, and Spider, I knew how it was going to end. And I had the shocking ending in mind, and so I just kind of work my way ahead. I work my way from the beginning to the end. Um, but I also sometimes I don't write every day. If I don't feel like it, I don't write. I try to write every day, but if I don't like guilt myself like, oh my God, you're horrible. I mean, it is what it is. We're all human beings. We have a life. We have stuff going on.
That's
But
another thing I'm curious about. Do you have like scheduled time where you write or like a ritual or anything like that? Or is it just when you get time? Because with kids, it's hard.
it's so
Guys
yeah.
might want to disparage Stephanie Meyer, who wrote the wonderful Twilight books that really just put my state on the map. But she would talk about how she'd write during like her kids' swim practice and stuff. I don't think I could do that, but how do you do it?
So I don't. So when my son's in school, this holiday break has been. I don't know. I wrote a little bit, but I love spending time with my family. So when it's the holiday break, we spend a lot of time together. So and that's fine. I didn't write a lot, but when he's in school, I'll try to write a lot in the morning. I usually write. I'll try to set like 1 to 2 hours, in the morning to write. So definitely during the school year, I write the most. Summers are hard because there's all these activities and he's going here, he's going there. Friends are coming over. Sometimes it's really loud. So I do
I
have the
think
noise canceling
as a
system.
mom too, it's very easy to back burner something that's just for you. It's like, well, my kid needs me, or my kid actually wants to spend time with me, especially when they're teenagers. Like that's precious. And
No,
so
you're
then, for me, I'm like, well, this is something that only benefits me, my writing, and so I back burner it a lot.
yeah.
When I met Andrew Van Way, though, he did tell me he's like, even if it's just like an hour a week, that's like your
Yeah.
time, and I need to do that. But I think it's um good that you have like that time when he's in school. I mean, also my kid's 21. I don't know what my problem is, guys, right? He lives with me, but he's my buddy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But
Oh.
like my dogs too, like look at this. Look at this. He's already like,
Oh.
Mom, this stream's gone a little longer than I would like. Please spend time with me. And I find it really, really hard to be like, no, right now I am writing. So
Yeah.
how do you do that? How do you like if does your husband like, like knock knock? Let's watch some X Files. It's an outdated reference.
He's really good about it. No, he knows when I want to write. He's like he knows it's serious time, and he doesn't want to intrude. And he knows he can see when I get that spark, and so he's like, okay, you go do your thing. So that's really great. And I do try to I do write a lot upstairs. This is I'm downstairs right now, but upstairs is kind of in the mix, so it's kind of hard. Um I do want to kind of set a little more time. I mean, like I said, during the school year it's easy ish. Um but summers are really tough. Summers, I guess nights work out more during the summer than the day because the day's just so busy.
I'm also curious, like, what are your actual rituals? Because I know some people have like, there's that Dorothy Parker quote where she's like, "I hate writing, but I love having written." Like they say, the hardest thing is sitting down in the chair and writing. So, do you have any rituals? Like, do you get a certain drink, or do you play music, or do you light a candle? Do you have any little things you do?
It's funny. I'm kind of bored. I really don't have any cool things. Yeah, I used to listen to music. Um, but yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just that spark. Once I get that spark, it doesn't even matter what's going on. I'll just write and the words will just flow. And whether it's like a chapter or like two paragraphs, it just goes. And I also feel that now Spider is my fourth book, Clatter Man sequels can be my fifth book. The more I write, the more I've developed my own writing style, which is so fun. So the easier it is for me to just write because I know how I'm gonna write it, because that's like my writing style now. So that's become a little easier too. Like Clatterman 2 has been pretty, easy. I don't want to say easy, but it's been easier, to write because I kind of have my own style.
Isn't
So
it seems almost kind of like it's like running. They say like when you start running, it's really, really hard, but eventually you get to a place where you get a runner's high and you don't even feel the exercise
yes.
anymore. And I saw you on, I think it was X the other day talking about how like it's just flowing. And I was like, so excited for you. I want
Aw.
to read it.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right though. It is like I just wrote this kill. It's crazy. I don't know. I'm almost halfway in, and I think there's like 10 or 12 kills already. Clatterman 2. So, and I'm trying to make them really creative. But Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of obviously, the hard thing is when you have to Google, okay, like about a certain body part, or like what happens if someone gets stabbed here, or if you get cut here, or like,
I
what does it
do
feel
that and
like?
then I go down a rabbit hole. See why I don't get
Oh,
anything done?
yeah. I
I
know,
need
it's
to take
such a
more
rabbit
pages out
hole.
of your book. I swear it's gonna be done someday. Yeah.
Uh, no, it's all good. Like I said, it took me 10
Do you
years
get in
to
that
finish some publication.
perfectionist loop? Because I feel like I do that a lot, and I just keep re-editing it and re-editing it, or I'm like, oh, I should research this a little bit more. How do you get out of that?
So I feel like it's a gut. I know it sounds so cliche, but it's a gut feeling. Once I know a scene is it, I just feel it in my gut. I'm like, okay, that's good. Um, and yeah, it's just really that feeling. And I get that when some and people have asked too, like, how do you know when your book's done? I'm like, I know it's done when I get that feeling. I won't finish it until I get that feeling. And if that feeling doesn't go away and it stays, I'm like, okay,
So,
it's done.
writing a book, if I'm following you correctly here, writing a book is kind of like having a baby. And at a certain point, you're like, yeah, that was a good time to go to the hospital. And then,
Get his baby out.
yeah. But it's also like I feel like it's also kind of like once you have the baby and then you need to send the baby away and then it's like, well, like you didn't want to send it to any of the institutions, the publishing houses, right? 'Cause like they were going to treat your baby good. So like you kind of homeschooled it, you know?
Yeah.
And then like you promote it yourself and you're like, "Yay." So that's another good question cuz you have to do that as a self-published
Mhm,
author. How and I know we have a lot of self-published authors in the chat here. What
mhm.
advice do you have for marketing your book?
Oh gosh, marketing, I want to say, is the toughest by far for a lot of authors. So I feel like I was in online advertising in New York City for like 10 years. So I was kind of in the mix of it. I was doing the whole client dinners, blah blah blah. I was doing the ads, and so I kind of got a little taste of it then, especially with relationships. That's where relationships are everything. I mean, really, it's not about, so marketing is all about relationships, because as an indie author, what I found is people are more likely to read your books and be interested in reading them. They just want to know you first. They want to know, okay, who you are, like, as a person. What do you like? They want to get to know you. Um, but once you build that relationship, it's like it's such a cool relationship, because your readers usually just, they travel with you down this journey. So it's so cool to have, these readers I've known. Some of them I've known, for over 2 years now, and they're reading my books when they come out. It's just this coolest feeling. So, but it is really about relationships, and it's about, um and like I said this before, but it's about being genuine. Just talk about what you like. Don't talk about, like, read my book. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna be like, you have to. I don't know. It's almost like, uh you're having a it's just kind of relationship, where it's this really delicate kind of, really wonderful, relationship you have with your readers. And it does take a lot of time to get there, though, because I want to say it took me at least a year and a half for it to click with me, to be like, wait a minute, why don't I just be myself?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
I think that's true with anything for,
Yeah.
you too for anything. I think even if you feel like you're not like somebody like I was watching this interview with freaking Jennifer Connelly the other day. I'm like, "Damn, she is a classy broad." I
I
wish
love
I was a
her.
classy broad, but if I tried to do that, I wouldn't do it as well as her. And I just need to own that I'm just a Gory B movie kind of girl.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, oh,
and that's fine.
absolutely.
I will connect with my people like you. So
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, the other thing I really wanted to touch on too that I think is really important with indie authors, and I think this is something I want to say to the chat, is it is
Mhm.
so vitally important if you read someone's indie book that you review it,
It's
especially on
so
like
important.
Amazon, on Goodreads, and that you tell your friends because that's
Mhm.
everything. I posted reviews and uh, a lot of the great indie authors I've read, I had
Mhm.
recommended to me by somebody else. So Monty, he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you gotta check out Janelle. She's super cool and she
Oh,
writes
mine
the
is so
kind of
sweet.
stuff that
Yeah.
you like." And he's like, "You gotta get in touch with her." And so like I wouldn't have found you if it wasn't for Monty. A
Yeah.
really good example, Matt Dinneman. he wrote the Dungeon Crawler Carl books, which are blowing up now, but Matt has been going to Crypticon Seattle for 8 years. We had to, I do Crypticon Seattle every year where I interview people and such.
Okay.
We had to convince the person at Crypticon, like, Matt should be a guest now. Like, those books are getting big. He's like, Matt started just doing his art there before he was even writing books. He's like, really? We're like, yeah, it's going to be like a TV show and stuff now. Like, everyone's like reading his books. But when I met him, he was an indie author who had a table, who was just working, who handed out business cards and stuff.
Mhm.
And he would tell everybody, if you like it, leave a review. And I feel the whole reason he has the success he has now is because a
Mhm.
lot of people were like, oh my gosh, you would love this book. Like, seriously, like
Mhm.
my brother, I just bought him the audiobook. I'm just like, you need this in your life. And we need to do that as readers and as horror fans, telling our friends and such, about the books we're reading, especially if they're indie authors, and supporting them.
Especially, it's yeah, for indie authors, we start from, from nothing, and we just build upon that. We don't have this big, this publisher. So you're so, and thank you so much for saying that. As an indie author, I really appreciate that, because it's so, so important. Because your reviews too allow, with your Goodreads followers will see, oh wow, she just read this book. So, it's just, it's so, so important, for to get our work noticed.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like I said, you're also going to find stuff there as a horror fan, because I see both sides of it because I read a lot too. So as a
Yeah.
horror fan, you're going to find some really special stuff there that I think a lot of times publishers, I mean, it's a money game, guys, and they're not going to
Mhm.
want to put a lot of money investment into something that's a little different. Think something like Dungeon Crawler Curl. It's a weird concept. Like
Yeah.
Janelle, I can't think of too many other books that are just a straight up slasher movie on paper. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that makes publishers a little nervous, but that's the thing that I know as a reader we really want. And if you
Yeah,
want to
exactly.
find these things, you're going to find it in the indie sphere more so than you're going to with, the big published books of the year, the ones that, Goodreads is going to talk about and stuff. But
You're so right. In fact, a majority of the books I read are indie books, and they're usually always so much more creative than the mainstream books.
yeah,
Because they can, they don't have to all publish. They're just not telling them what they have to write, or that,
yeah.
well, you can't do that. So it really is cool. And the same with movies too. Indie movies,
Hmm.
like Good Boy. I loved Good Boy. It was
Oh,
such a
it
cool
was
concept.
so good. And it's so the afterward of the film where they talked about how they filmed it was
Oh,
so
I
adorable. Oh my gosh, there was this little featurette after the credits. And he
Yeah.
was talking about how Indy's his pet dog. And it took 3 years because they didn't want him to feel like he was working or in a movie. So him and
3
his wife
years?
would it took 3 years. They would do like 30 minutes here and there. And if Indy got tired or whatever, they didn't do it. So he's like, let's take this scene here where it's one of the scenes where Indy's looking and there's wind chimes, Janelle, and
I know,
and
yeah.
Indy's really scared, and he's like, "This is what actually happened. The room's very well lit, and him and his wife are going quack 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 to make him
Oh,
because he said the dog's really intelligent. So if they said any words that he didn't understand, he would make this, huh?
oh,
Like
that's so
look.
cool.
So like it's just really cool. I love that stuff. Like having to be creative,
Yeah. Yep,
really
that's
cool.
so cool.
And I think
Yeah.
also with indie authors and indie filmmakers,
Mhm.
they are more in touch with what their readers want. I mean, I don't
Yes.
think necessarily that, anybody should ever write with their readers in mind because I think that could drive you crazy. But
Yeah.
um you you see what your readers are saying on social media and stuff. You're like, "Oh, they really liked this." And so
Yeah.
like that, like we mentioned the Easter egg before and how your readers were
Mhm.
so excited. So, yeah, you're probably going to have more Easter eggs in it and
I
stuff. So, like,
will.
I think that's really exciting as opposed to when you see like some of those really big budget movies and it's like, are they even paying attention to what
Yeah.
people actually want?
I
So,
know, that's the thing. A lot of movies were like, "We don't want this movie." Like, "Why are you making this movie?"
yeah. Yeah, and I say that all the time too, guys. You vote with your dollars. So,
Mhm.
if you don't want more of the same stuff, and a lot of indie books too, you can get them on Kindle Unlimited or really, really cheap. So, I'm going to
Mhm.
get the rest of Janelle's books for sure,
Thank
and
you.
I highly recommend you guys do. It's 99 cents, guys.
Yeah.
99 cents.
All month. Yeah, till the end of January. Yeah, they're all 99
Yeah,
cents. So,
it's a good time to grab them. And I have about 5 minutes before I wrap up here, but I wanted to give you guys in the chat a chance to say whatever you want to say to Janelle or ask her questions because you're like me. You just want to like get into her gooey brain matter and pick around a bit. And I've had my opportunity here. So, let's see. Stephanie Meyer's kids are boring swimmers. That's my husband, Dan. That's so mean. Okay, here's a good question. Who would you pick to play the Clatter Man in the
Oh
movie? The
gosh,
movie.
that's such a hard question.
You
That's a
need
very
a
good question.
big guy.
A big guy. Yeah, I don't know. That's such a good question.
Tyler
Um,
Mane or
I
something.
keep on thinking about oh
He
gosh,
needs
you
to
know
be
what?
kind of old. Oh my gosh. How
Oh,
tall is he? No, it's your book. You answer the question, but I have an
oh,
idea.
okay, no, I was thinking I should know. Oh God, Catherine Spalding, like that kind of that kind of like I guess he's not that tall. I
Yeah.
mean, I know he passed away though, but
Yeah, he is really sweet too. I met him at CryptoCon Seattle, and he a lot of times they charge you for every little thing, and he's like, anybody who wants a selfie, just come on over. Like he was
are
a
you serious?
sweetheart.
Oh,
He was
he's so
so
sweet.
nice.
Oh my God. Gosh, so I'm trying to think of like a really big, big guy. I
So
can't.
I was also thinking, because to me, he
Really-
seems like he's, pretty grizzly and hairy, but he's also, it mentions that he's handsome and he has kind
Yeah,
eyes. So
yeah.
I'm thinking Joe Manganiello. Do you know who that is?
I know the name, but
He
like, what
played
is he?
Alcide on True Blood and trying to think of other stuff. But he was in that Pee Wee movie. Pee Wee's
Gosh,
Holiday. Yeah.
why am I not?
He
I
was
know
gonna
the name.
he was gonna be the main character in this other indie book series I've been reading,
Oh,
the zombie
really?
book series. Uh, but nuts. I wish I could think of like
Oh gosh, yeah, because he's got to be kind of handsome. That's the thing. He's got to be kind of handsome because the
he's
Spider
hot,
Man like
dude.
has that chiseled kind of, even though it's all messed up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay, he was also he was in the Magic Mike movies. I mean, come on.
I haven't
Come on.
seen it. I haven't seen
All
Magic
right.
Mike.
Well, I've only seen the first one.
Okay.
He was in Spider-Man. Anyway, he's really tall and he's really
Yeah.
big, but I like him because he's also funny and handsome. So like a lot of guys like him too. Whereas a lot of
Oh,
guys
that's
like that
good.
who are in super good shape, I feel like guys are just like, nah, dude, that guy sucks. But no, people like him because he's adorable. Oh yeah, he was
Yeah.
also in How I Met Your Mother a little bit too. Anyway, look him up. So, and then
I
when
will.
your book gets turned into a movie,
Aw.
make that happen. He was supposed to be in, what was that book called that Adam really likes? Mountain Man. So do you ever read
Mount.
the Mountain Man books?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're by Keith Blackmore. It's a long-running
Okay.
series of indie zombie
Oh.
novels, but there was going to be a movie and he was going to be in it.
Oh
And
wow.
it fell through, which is a big bummer.
That's the tough thing about movies. It's like it takes so much time to do a screenplay, and then it's like you have to get the director, you have to do the pitch, and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. So, and then of course you have Hollywood. Like, okay, are people going to like this? Are they not? It's like this whole.
That's the thing, guys. When you read a book, like you have the biggest budget. You can have all the special effects. You can cast whatever actor you want. And I think that's wonderful about writing too. Is
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
you're not constrained at all. Like I know with screenplays a lot of people talk about how they have to limit the number of locations and stuff, and
Oh
books
yeah.
you don't need
Yeah.
to worry
Because the
about that.
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nonsense, Janelle. Never fall for that nonsense. Rod Kelly says, "Great to meet you, Gory. Always such a joy, Janelle. It's a lot of J
Aw,
sounds,
thanks
but
so
it's
much.
time for me to go read Spider. Yes, I actually she told me she's gonna email me an advanced reader copy, so I'm gonna read
Yeah.
that too.
I
Very
can't wait.
eager to check it out. I'm super excited.
Yeah. Well, thanks
Um,
so much, Rod. Yeah.
so
Like I'm
nice
so
to
excited
see
to read it. It's
everybody.
so different.
And we
Oh.
have one question, and then I'm gonna call it a night. Oh, it's my
Okay.
buddy Adam, who actually is the guy
Oh.
who's obsessed with the Mountain Man books. And
The
again,
go-to
word of
dinner.
mouth, guys. That's how I read that book. So word of mouth is so important. He says, "What's your go-to quick dinner after a long day of writing?" That's a fabulous question.
That is a good one. Gosh, go to quick dinner.
I make an
Um,
incredible call to the pizza delivery
the pizza delivery.
place. Yes.
I was gonna say it's probably pizza or like we get these steak tacos. There's a really
Mm.
good place around the corner that has steak tacos. We actually had those tonight. Um, I guess gotta be steak tacos. I don't know. Steak
Yeah.
tacos are just
I think
like
the
I
answer is
order.
making somebody else make the dinner for you.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm
Um,
like I don't cook a ton. I cook a little bit, but
I mean, I guess I don't know. exactly how casseroles are made, but I understand that there's something you can put in the oven later. So maybe that, but
Maybe that. That's true.
I'm all about these steak tacos that Janelle's
All the steak tacos are little
making.
cheese, and then the sour cream, and then the oh man,
That
yeah.
sounds amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been so much fun.
This was so much fun. Thanks so much for having me
Cool.
on.
And before I let you go and out into the world where you're gonna go write some more awesome stuff, tell everybody where they can find your books or what you're doing or anything you want to share with them.
Okay, awesome. So you can find my books. They're available on Amazon. Also, if you go to JanelleSchiecke.com, I sell signed copies there as well. And you can find me on Twitter X. You can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on TikTok.
You guys will find her links in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to the channel supporters and the B Movie Coven, like Adam, for being here. And check out the Clatter Man. You guys are gonna really love it. One thing I forgot to mention is I love it's got awesome short chapters. That book just flies by, guys. It is such a fast read. It's just addictive. So definitely check it out. It is well worth your time. Thank you so much, Janelle. And until
Thank
we meet
you.
again, blessed be.